Commercial real estate made easy for the busy. How's it going, everybody? This is commercial real estate made easy. I'm going to make this real simple for you guys and get you guys into real estate. Everybody looks at it and they think it's overwhelming and it's too difficult, and you probably have never actually did it and never thought you could do it, when in reality it's actually quite the opposite. It's easier than single family, it's easier than business funding, it's easier than about everything. That's why you've seen them or you've been around them, they're not even that bright or they're nothing special about them. It's because they know the path and the direction and how to make things happen, which is what I'm going to do for you guys. So basically it's about 3 steps. One, you got $1 to $5 million range, 20 million and up, and then you got your large projects and big acquisitions over like 100 million. 3 levels, real simple. Let's talk about the first level. This is your easiest level. You can get into it. Doesn't matter where you're at in life. Your money, if you got money or bad credit, ideally you want to have a 650 credit score, because that's kind of the key number private investors, normal investors like. So say you're at 650. If you're not, get with me. We'll do credit repair. Other people, they can't get it done. Never gets done. You don't hire the right best people. It's never going to get done. So you have your single family rental properties. You got your 2-unit properties, and you got 1 to 4 unit properties, and multifamily. So up to 4 units, you can get like 2.5 million, or up to apartments, 5 million. And when I'm saying this, structuring it, we can basically get it no money out of your pocket. On interest only, a 3-year term or 30-year term. And when we do this, it can be set up in a number of ways. I can either get you funding, B, you can find a seller that would cooperate and maybe carry a little bit under the table or on top of the table, depends on how we do it. And if not, either way, if it's a fixer upper, you're looking around your local area for distressed properties or under occupancy, there's a couple ways to do it. We can go off of a renovation value, the future value. So it's like a million ways to pull this off with basically no money out of your pocket. Now, if we got you funding and I got you in 50,000 to 100,000, and we're messing around this $1 to $5 million range, you're like Richie Rich going to the dollar store, because everybody in this market right now for the next 3 months, maybe 6 months, is pretty much wanting to move their property, because everybody's, you know how the economy is. So how are you going to do it? Is you're going to find the owners, ideally in your local area. If you get a realtor, you got to make a way to get to the owner. And if you want to do that, you're going to have to write a good LOI, presenting your case and how you're going to benefit them, and then the breakdown of the numbers of, like, if I have an LTV of like 30% or 20% of a deficit. So we're either going to make the money up from raising the sales price, seller carry, or manipulating the numbers to where it's structuring and it's still money out of your pocket, or get private money, or bring money to the table. I mean, there's like 10 different ways to do that. Most of the ways we can do it, on 20 million above, you're pulling out money. On 1 to 5 million, it may break even. Sometimes we'll pull out money. A lot of times it may be like 10%, small, very small. So that's how we're going to pull that part off. So if you need help with that, you can hire me and I can structure it and do the whole thing, make this easy. And then once you got one under your belt, then all the rest of them are dominoes. It's simple, easy stuff. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and a lot of benefits to the sellers, because a lot of sellers have gotten in these properties the same exact way. And when you're going to give them maybe a little bit more, or what they're asking for on the market value, or interest on the carryback, and if you have the chance that you fail, they pick up the whole property plus everything you've done to it. So no matter what, in reality, is they're playing the bank or a part of the bank, they're going to win all the way around. So if it's all structured right and presented right, these deals go through. The only time it doesn't go through is when people don't find the properties and don't do the work and never actually get committed to doing that to get one, and I get them to carry back this amount, or I put down payment, or we go off of a couple transactions, one with the seller and one with the lender, different ones to make it work differently for the purchase. If you want to hire me, I can write the LOI for you and teach you how to do it and break it down. We can send out 10 a day, 20 a day, and that is the real key to getting past the broker or the realtor straight to the owner, because they have to present them the offer no matter what. But ideally, that is the key to doing a large volume and getting a lot of properties under your belt. And then if you even want to hire me to do the full negotiation on the phone, that's easy. I can do that, and I've been very successful at it. And I can definitely, if they're wanting to sell, always find an angle to get you into the property. Now, in getting you into the property, we're going to either finance it with the future value and you renovate some, or just the future value and get you in it. Or if it's upside down and the low occupancy is super low, or it's distressed, we could go ahead and set up a contract for deed, or he carries most of it, and we come up with some money where maybe you put down 100,000, or even put down zero, and you fill occupancy by marketing and get it full, and then you collect all the money over his normal amount of rent. Say he's got 50% occupancy and you fill up the other 50%, you make a contract for however long you want to make, ideally longer the better. That other 50% is your money, it goes in your pocket because you filled the occupancy. Or you do a master lease where you have a lease option to own. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. So if the property is distressed, we could do a renovation loan on a future value, or if you just want to take it off his hands, you could pay him maybe full price and get him to carry back a small amount, or we structure it where you get some extra funding or cash and we come up with that. Or like you do syndicated money, you could find your own private investors, come up with down payment if it's needed. But a lot of these deals, if you're talking like, even if you start out at like a 4-unit property, you go clear down to 100,000. You could start out at 500,000, and worst case with a 650 credit score, you might come up with 30% down. But if we had a good appraisal and we got things back, it could really end up being 10% down or even 0% down by the time we manipulate and structure it with the seller. If you can get a hold of the seller directly, you get a good LOI. Hire me to show you how to do an LOI and do some for you. Then you know how to do it, you know how to structure them, and then it's just a matter about sending out the LOI. You want to find them, you want to look for apartments in your area. Normally they're for sale by owners or owner occupied, they live there, or you see they're a little bit distressed or whatever, the low occupancy, run down a little bit, or it needs help. You go there, look for the guy on the property, or you just call the ad. But if you find the ones that aren't even for sale and you present them, you know how you're going to pull it off, then it makes it even easier. So you've got 1 to 4 units, apartments, twin homes, or even single family homes. You can pull this off on the smallest increment, could be like 100,000 on up. You have $5 million range. The same principles, once you pull this one off, works on a 20 million, except you're pulling out cash, 1 to 3 million. The small ones, we can work it where we could possibly pull out cash, but we gotta get you in the first one, and then we get funding on it. There's plenty of money to get funding for this, and plenty of ways to get you in these properties. You just got to go find them, and it's not as hard as you think. And when you get a hold of the seller, you can present the case of how you're going to pull it off. You're going to think about it, find out what he really needs. If it's low occupancy, or he wants to get rid of it because of a divorce or someone died or whatever, you would just offer him the price. Or you find out it needs some work, say, hey, you got to put the money in to fix it. I mean, there's a lot of ways. You got to get a hold of the seller. But if you have a good LOI, you could get it out a lot and then find the real sellers really quickly. But that's the trick. This works for all the United States, Canada, international, everything. It's all the same formula based on building the foundation in the brick by brick piece, every piece complete. with the right team and everything that you need to make it happen. So finding the property, that's the key. Then you're gonna write the LOI, you're gonna get a contract. All I need from you is like copy your credit, and I'm ready to go. So that's the first thing. You need to do that. If you were to write, find the worst case scenario, bad occupancy and need renovation. I mean, you could take control of it with the master lease, and you could even wholesale the thing to another investor or to one of your investors that is going to put down the down payment, or you don't need those investors. We'll come up with the money by funding. The trick is you got to just find the property. Now, once you get the property, what's the next step? The next step is raising the market cap or raising the value of the property. How you do that? Well, if you own the property and we put the financing through together, we would increase the rents, but we'd maybe fix up the place and increase the rents. Or you could do a lateral conversion and change it from apartment to condos and sell out individual units, or change it to apartment to individual business offices, or go back to a nicer apartment and redo it. Or you could add signs, park benches with advertisements from local areas, or a sign on the front of the building to advertise, cross advertise other things, or even make another apartment and break it out into like a maid service or like a daycare or a doggy daycare. And you can allow pets to be into the apartments and raise rents on that, or raise deposits. Or you can screen your clients really well and lower your standards, but raise the quality person and allow for felons or people with bad credit, but charge them a little bit more rent. Or you could add covered carports, garages, or pool memberships if you got a pool for outside guests or whatever, a membership for the neighborhood or whatever, make money on that. That'd probably make money. Um, you could sell drinks, pop, all this extra stuff, high speed internet, or put in a hot tub, or put in a pool, or just make use of what you have and then generate money. There's so many ways to generate money, you just have to put your mind to it. All these properties can be increased very easily if you just actually focus. It's not that hard to change the value in a property. I mean, with the renovation money, you got the bathroom, the kitchens, everything, or you can do bike rental, or turn it to Section 8, fill it up, and then increase the value that way. There's so many ways to increase the property value, it's crazy. It's really actually easy to do it, especially if you have the right team and the right appraiser. If you have a good appraiser, it can write that appraisal up better than any normal appraiser because he's done it for so many years, and he can explain it better and say why he used certain comps that a normal crappy appraiser wouldn't. I mean, I've done so many deals with great appraisers that underwriters try to pick apart, but they can't because they're so good. So that is all key into getting the right people. But yeah, raise the market cap, raise the value of the property, and you're on your way. All that makes the property worth more money. So when you make that worth more money, after you've got a year on the books, 2 years, you're already increasing the property by 20-30%. If you pull it off right, maybe 40%. You could do a lot and resell it, or keep it on the portfolio and just let it keep making money. That is the key to raising the market cap and getting the value out of the property. Or when you're doing this, it's a piece of crap property, and it could be industrial, it could be office building, it could be apartment, whatever, and you already have the tenant in mind, and you've already pre-sold the tenant, say, I got the perfect location, all this stuff, and you already told them what you could do for it and maybe what you may want to fix up on it. You already know what you got to put in there and how much money you're going to get on a loser, on paper loser property. Then you're going to go ahead and close the deal that way. Or like the textbook style real estate, where like Donald Trump took the Commodore Hotel and he had nothing. Trump had nothing but an apartment and a limousine. His dad gave him a cosign on a loan, which he went through and blew. So he's basically broke at the time. So he went to the Commodore Hotel. Guy turned him down, didn't know who he was, didn't care. And Trump went and got hired.
to manage it before he even owned it, went back to the Commodore Hotel and closed the deal, got in the middle. So you could do the same thing with this property, but with the tenant, or you set it up for straight up. I mean, you could use it for a 1031 exchange on some other property or other things. You have to be creative and dynamic and look at a property from different perspectives and open your mind. Once you do that and you start making the negotiations, you make a relationship with the seller. He may not want to sell it right now, but if you have already made the effort and you have the relationship with him, who knows? A matter of time. A lot of these guys want to get out of it. I mean, especially if you'd had a relationship with these now in the downturn of the market, they would have handed over everything. Or, divorce, death, who knows? Cash talks. Could be even a week, could be 2 weeks, maybe a month. It doesn't matter. You're farming your future income. You're building your pipelines for money coming in every angle.
It's all key ways to do this. But that's the trick in raising the money for the property to get things going. On the future value loans, you could put in the cost basis for what you want to improve or whatever, be it single family, 2 unit, 4 unit, or a whole complex. And off the future value, you're talking and go up to 80%. But if we pull our cards right with certain structuring and things, it's really almost no money out of pocket as well. But you do want to have your good credit in order just in case you need it, so you have other options. So when you do this, it's about really your team. I'm about the best person you could find. Well, probably am. I can't say I've found any better, but I'm biased. But you need to find your key person who's going to get the money. Then you're going to have your real estate attorney, your tax guy, the good CPA or enrolled agent. I mean, I got that. Same guy you could use. He's killer. A couple of good real estate attorneys. And then you're going to have your plumber, your contractor to do the work, electrician, and those people in place. And you might want to find the best plumber, electrician, and contractor by getting a volume discount, making a relationship with them, or finding a new guy, taking them under your wing, and making them yours and put them on a full-time salary. But you get the key pieces of the puzzle doing this. Once you have done it once, then you have this functioning, innovative model that can be duplicated 100 times. And these properties, you get the management structure, or you can put it on autopilot with an online management system or a certain management style, or hire your own managers, whatever, cut the costs and keep the cash flow up, and the value of the property already goes up, or you wholesale it and you're making cash hand over fist. And it's a huge tax write-off, so you can't lose. But the trick is you got to get out there and start looking for it. And then if you have the best team and the best everything, then everything falls into place. What properties you want to look for? You could look for A class level properties, maybe low on occupancy, a B class level that needs all renovation and needs occupancy as well, or your C level in the hood and get also your opportunity credit or whatever. And there's angles every direction you go. You just have to start looking and start doing it. Once you get this stuff going, I mean, I'm here to do the phone negotiation with the seller and help you with the LOI, just a really killer one that will blow anybody out of the water in a competition, and get your submissions going and everything else like that. So that's what you really want to think about. And also you could hire me to do the whole market cap increase and guide you on that and get the whole thing done and completed, and then you're set up for the whole exit strategy all the way around, as well as and get you funding for the whole thing. Now you want to put everything on a corporation. I got corporations we can put them on. Never been used, no EIN number. We can get the DUNS number, the whole nine, set up and everything, and then do corporate funding as well. But now is a really great time that you probably want to get into commercial real estate, so this would be a key thing. So the next level after you've accomplished that is the 20 million and up properties, the same similar style. It's just more money, and then you have your larger project styles, 100 million and up, which um, once that's you have the money on the books, I mean, you can duplicate this, and then once you want to get into the bigger stuff, we can do that as well. But you have to accomplish one, no matter what size. You just need to get one done and start things going, and then you kick things off and you're ready to start moving. But if you hire the best of the best people and focus 100%, you're going to make things happen. And when you have the best team and you innovate and you create, there's really no stopping and there's no competition, because you're constantly working together and it's never going to fail. But if you take the shortcuts and you end up with crappy credit repair, or the wrong corporation doesn't get money, the credit doesn't get done, or you just have a shitty accountant, or you got a shitty attorney, or you got a shitty plumber, or you got a shitty contractor, or you got a shitty electrician, you go backwards 100-fold when you could be going forward 1,000 times. That's really a key problem in people's lives, is that they don't understand focusing 100% on the task and completing it 100%. Like a soldier in the middle of a war has to get the task done. That's all he's trained to do. That's what he has to do. And if he fails, he knows that, well, he dies and everybody else dies. It's life and death on every little piece that you're accomplishing. So when you're doing your task, you get it done 100%, and you expect the same from the people you are going to be associating with in your group. You have that team. Once you have that perfect team that works like a functioning machine, it's unstoppable and you make a lot of money. So that pretty much goes over everything. It's about putting up the file together. I mean, I can help you with the executive summary. We'll get the 1003, the credit, appraisal, inspection, geological, environmental, the whole nine. Get the thing going, close it, and boom. And a lot of these can close in a couple weeks if you have a good seller that's wanting to move. So try looking for apartments or multi-units or whatever, 1 to 4 units or 2 units or whatever, in your own area. I mean, later on, after you've got one, then maybe you want to go across the nation and you want to spend a couple weeks there and then get that off the ground, put a manager in it, and keep going. That's what you can do. But you start out local and go with that. I mean, if you're from Canada and you're trying to do it in the United States, we just need like a social security number or an equivalent, or you already have a property here, or we could have a registered agent here, and you have to have a minimum 650 credit score. So go out there, look for offices, self-storage units, strip malls, apartments, automotive, or the single family if you really can't find anything else. But get on it, start making things happen. That's the foundation. How you're going to start. Once you start and you have one, the rest is easy. The hardest part is when you guys don't go out there and get it. And rates right now are really low. Interest only is super low. I mean, you're getting rates at like 6.2%. Worst case scenario on private money, you're talking like 9%, maybe 9.9. Absolute worst on renovation future value, well below hard money. So there you have it. That's the everything in a nutshell. You just have to start looking, and it doesn't take much time. It only take an hour a day if you really focus, find it, start getting a hold of the sellers, and make things happen. Now, if you want funding to pull this stuff off, or for your business or personal funding, credit repair that gets done, or you want to get your corp set up, give me a call, 312-473-4163.